So everyone knows about the accusations that these other women have come out with, but this episode is really to kind of dive into some of the other pieces that are out on the internet that are floating that nobody's really talking about just yet. So we've heard from Jenna, we've heard from Trent, and now we're starting to hear from actor, musician Corey Feldman, who he was a child actor. He's recently come out. He's been in a lot of controversy himself, primarily with, there was the Tale of Two Coreys, where his friend Corey, who was also a child actor, he claimed allegedly was raped by Charlie Sheen. And so that was kind of a big controversy when his documentary came out last year. So he claims that Marilyn Manson tried to blackmail him as well as use his angels. So Corey Feldman, when he was on tour, had these angels that were, I guess, like, I don't even know how to really describe them. I mean, they worked for him, but they were also like kind of like he was in like a relationship with them. I don't know, but he claims that they were sent by Marilyn Manson to spy on him. And so it got a little cuckoo magoo, but so he recently posted on Instagram a photo of the two of them. And in 1998, he claims that Manson wanted to make him his play toy. And he claims that Manson forced him to kiss him. He hugged him and has messed with his life ever since. He also claims that he had an obsession with him. I'll read you his Instagram post. This is what Corey Feldman posted with the photo with Marilyn Manson. He said, "The night Marilyn Manson tried to use and abuse me as his play toy by trying to manipulate me into breaking my 5 year of sobriety to snort cocaine with him while gaslighting me for his press tour on mechanical animals was where the decades-long mental and emotional abuse began. Luckily, I was not physically harmed that night as we got out safely, but that was just the beginning of my nightmare. I stand with Evan and any and all survivors of his demented abuse. Manson has been obsessed with me for over 2 decades. Don't believe me? Just look at published facts." He first wrote several passages about me in his book, Long Road Out of Hell, which is the one I mentioned earlier, as he had met me a few months prior to that at a premiere for Howard Stern's private party in New York, where the grooming process began. He grabbed my face in front of the crowd and kissed me with his black lipstick that I couldn't rub off all night. He proceeded to gush over me, telling me what a huge fan of mine he was. He then introduced me to his BFF, Billy Corgan. All of this documented in his book. He brags about it as if I was a special needs person he was making fun of. However, this encounter not only talked about in his book, but also discussed in Jenna Cantlos's biography. She notes his obsession with me there, but several months passed before he released the book, making me aware of his two-sided nature. Before the book came out, Manson heavily pursued a friendship with me, telling me I was his idol, telling me he actually got his whole style by watching my film Dream a Little Dream, and my character Bobby Keller was the inspiration for his entire look. I don't know if that was the truth, but he used it as a way to manipulate me. Months later, he called me on Christmas morning to wish me a Merry Christmas and invite me to a dinner party around the release of his book at a fancy Indian Hollywood hang, Dar Macroby. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it looks like it's Macroby, where customers sit around on pillows as in traditional Indian style. When I walked into the room, it was quite clear that I was the guest of honor as the whole room stopped to take pictures of the moment as he hugged me, then grabbed my hand and led me to the table by his side. This pic is from that moment. We later went back to his home where the nightmare began. He's messed with my life ever since. And Corey Feldman's recollection is also similar to the women that have come out. It's very detailed. Like, they have specific days, specific times. They have things like book passages or photos that back some of this stuff up. I did look into that Leslie woman that was that Evan Rachel Wood claimed was conspiring with his current wife, Lindsay, to blackmail her. I saw some of the screenshots that she posted. It wasn't necessarily convincing that Lindsay was in on some of the conspiracy, other than mention from that Leslie woman. So I don't know. I mean, obviously Lindsay, she hasn't come out. It's his current wife. They've been together on and off for many years, and they just got married in 2020 during the pandemic. and they had a quiet private ceremony that he'd opened up about very recently. But it's crazy how a lot of them claim that there was blackmail, that there was gaslighting, that he tried to come after them. It's almost a little Harvey Weinstein-ish. I don't think he had the same power or influence that Harvey Weinstein had, but the accusations are very detailed. They're a little different, again, with the types of abuse, but they are very specific in terms of what happened, when it happened, specific things that, there are similarities, like his obsession with Nazis and Hitler, and the kind of like terrorizing that he would inflict upon these people afterwards, and the lifestyle. They all seem to mention that he had a really intense lifestyle that was hard for a lot of people. It involved drugs, it involved late night partying. It doesn't seem to have involved, from any of the accounts, that he was very promiscuous. That's one thing that I don't think has ever been explicitly said or mentioned or implied necessarily. And this is where we get into some of the other women.